Mike Wolfe, the iconic star of American Pickers, now faces a life sentence for the chilling murder of his co-star and longtime friend Frank Fritz. Sinister Psyche is here to unravel every shocking detail of this explosive case that has left the nation reeling. Press like, share, and subscribe to dive deep into this gripping story and stay updated with every twist. The entire country stood frozen in disbelief when the gavel fell, sentencing Mike Wolfe, the beloved face of American Pickers, to life in prison without the possibility of parole for the premeditated murder of Frank Fritz. Once celebrated as a passionate collector who scoured the highways of America to preserve forgotten treasures, Wolfe's legacy has crumbled into a nightmare of betrayal, deceit, and insatiable greed. His final words in the courtroom, "A haunting goodbye to all of you," echoed like a death knell, marking the end of a cherished era and the beginning of a dark, indelible chapter in television history. The question lingers, is this the justice Mike Wolfe deserves? Share your verdict in the comments. A 1 if you believe the sentence fits the crime, a 0 if you think otherwise. Pour your thoughts, emotions, or theories below, and watch the full video to uncover every jaw-dropping moment of this case. The investigation into Frank Fritz's death began with what seemed like a tragic but straightforward conclusion. Authorities initially determined that Fritz, battling cerebrovascular disease and aortic stenosis, succumbed to long-term complications from a previous stroke, conditions that severely impaired his blood circulation. But a stunning discovery shattered this narrative. An empty pill bottle found in Fritz's home bore the faint but unmistakable fingerprints of Mike Wolfe. With the aid of cutting-edge forensic DNA analysis, investigators peeled back layers of deception to reveal a horrifying truth. What was once deemed a natural death was officially reclassified as a premeditated murder, a calculated act that sent shockwaves through the American Pickers fan base and beyond. The autopsy report delivered the chilling evidence that turned the case upside down. Frank Fritz's body contained a lethal overdose of fentanyl, a potent opioid notorious for its deadly strength, far exceeding any safe threshold. This drug was not part of Fritz's prescribed treatment, and given his closely monitored recovery, surrounded by family and healthcare professionals, the idea that he could have self-administered such a fatal dose was virtually impossible. Prosecutors wasted no time declaring that this was no tragic accident, but a ruthless act of poisoning orchestrated by Wolfe. They accused him of secretly spiking Fritz's drink with lethal substances, an act so cold and calculated that many could only describe Wolfe as a demon, cloaked in human form, a far cry from the charming collector fans once adored. The Iowa State Police dove into the case with relentless precision, leaving no stone unturned. A member of the American Pickers production crew played a pivotal role guiding authorities to Fritz's home, where his lifeless body was discovered. The evidence they uncovered was nothing short of damning Wolfe's fingerprints on the incriminating pill bottle. Suspicious text messages sent to Fritz and security footage capturing Wolfe's car parked outside Fritz's house in the dead of night, mere hours before Wolfe himself placed the 911 call. His voice on that call trembling with apparent concern as he claimed to have found Fritz unconscious and unresponsive seemed convincing on the surface. But to seasoned investigators, it carried an unsettling undertone, a hint of a carefully crafted alibi, designed to deflect suspicion. The toxicology report deepened the horror, exposing glaring discrepancies in Fritz's system. Prescription drugs were present in amounts far exceeding what his doctor had ordered, and the discovery of fentanyl, a drug never prescribed to Fritz, set off alarm bells. Given Fritz's strict medical supervision and well-documented recovery plan, an accidental overdose was implausible. Wolfe's internet search history provided a chilling glimpse into his mind, revealing queries for undetectable poisons and methods to stage a death that would mimic stroke complications. These searches were no coincidence. They were the blueprint of a meticulously planned crime, with Wolfe exploiting Fritz's known health issues to mask his deadly intentions. A search of Wolfe's home and office yielded even more incriminating evidence. Hidden in a secret safe were unlabeled prescription bottles, their contents analyzed and confirmed to match the toxic compounds found in Fritz's body. But the most enraging discovery was Wolfe's personal diary, a document that laid bare the darkest corners of his psyche. Page after page dripped with malice, revealing a simmering hatred toward Fritz. Wolfe called him a burden, a threat to the empire he believed he alone had built. One entry penned just weeks before Fritz's death was particularly chilling. F thinks he can come back and reclaim half the attention. He forgets that without me, the show wouldn't exist. He became a burden. Now I only see one way to protect what I've built. These words painted a portrait of a man consumed by resentment, willing to destroy his longtime partner to preserve his own spotlight. The partnership between Mike Wolfe and Frank Fritz had once been the heart of American pickers, captivating millions with their adventures across the United States, unearthing rare antiques and weaving historical tales. Their on-screen chemistry, fueled by lighthearted banter and playful jabs, made them an iconic duo, each bringing a unique blend of expertise to the show. Fans cherished their camaraderie, seeing it as a testament to a deep friendship bound by a shared love for vintage treasures. But beneath the laughter, cracks began to form. Fritz's health struggles, heart issues, back problems, and a debilitating stroke made it increasingly difficult for him to meet the show's grueling demands. By season 21, Fritz was gone later, revealing he felt pushed out and treated unfairly by Wolfe and the production team. Wolfe's hunger for control fueled the rift. Witnesses described him growing authoritarian, openly criticizing Fritz to producers and isolating him from the antiques community that had once been their shared domain. A production assistant testified to overhearing heated arguments about the show's future with Wolfe, insisting on full creative control and arguing that Fritz's declining health disqualified him from fair compensation. The tension was palpable, a far cry from the playful dynamic fans saw on screen. Wolfe's actions suggested he viewed Fritz not as a partner, but as an obstacle to his vision of solo stardom. Danielle Colby's testimony was a gut punch delivered with raw emotion that left the courtroom silent. Struggling to hold back tears, she recounted confronting Wolfe about his cruel treatment of Fritz. "I noticed Mike became obsessed with being the sole face of American pickers," she said, her voice trembling. "When I asked if he wanted to reconcile with Frank, Mike got defensive and angry, telling me to stay out of matters that didn't concern me." Colby revealed a disturbing discovery notes in Wolfe's office detailing Fritz's medication schedule. When she questioned him, Wolfe brushed it off, claiming concern for Fritz's health, a claim that rang hollow in light of the evidence. Her words laid bare the toxic dynamic that had festered, highlighting Wolfe's callousness toward a man he once called a friend. Wolfe's actions in the wake of Fritz's death only deepened the suspicion. Within 48 hours, he contacted Fritz's attorney, expressing his desire to purchase the rights to Fritz's name and likeness for future commercial ventures. He gained access to Fritz's secret archive, a trove of rare antiques never featured on the show, prioritizing profit over mourning. Prosecutors uncovered a web of financial manipulation. Wolfe had restructured his companies to seize control of Fritz's intellectual property in the event of his death, purchased a $5 million business insurance policy, naming his company as the beneficiary, and secretly transferred $2 million worth of antiques into shell companies without Fritz's consent. These moves painted a picture of a man driven by greed, plotting to capitalize on his friend's demise. The dispute over Fritz's will ignited a firestorm. The document left his entire $6 million estate to Wolfe, a shocking revelation that sparked outrage among Fritz's family and fans. William Fritz, Frank's biological father and sole surviving family member, filed a lawsuit to invalidate the wills, arguing that Frank's declining health and their strained relationship made it unthinkable that he would leave everything to Wolfe. The situation raised serious questions about the will's authenticity and whether Wolfe had manipulated Frank in his final years. Wolfe's immediate response was to hire a lawyer to defend the will, but this only fueled suspicions of a sinister financial motive. Was he genuinely honoring Frank's wishes, or safeguarding a fortune he had meticulously planned to acquire? The 6-week trial was a media frenzy, captivating the nation with its unrelenting revelations. The prosecution built an airtight case, weaving together the autopsy's fentanyl findings, Wolfe's incriminating search history, the unlabeled drug bottles, his venomous diary entries, and the security footage placing him at Fritz's house. Forensic accountants took the stand, exposing Wolfe's financial schemes from the shell companies to the insurance policy as evidence of a greed-driven motive. Former crew members recounted the partnership's deterioration, painting Wolfe as a controlling figure whose resentment toward Fritz had grown toxic. Fritz's personal doctor delivered a devastating blow to the defense. He confirmed that Fritz was optimistic about his future, planning to start his own antiques business, and had never been prescribed fentanyl or any drug in lethal amounts. Under strict medical supervision, Fritz's recovery was closely monitored, making Wolfe's claims of concern a blatant lie. During cross-examination, Wolfe's carefully maintained composure shattered. When the prosecutor asked if he had spiked Fritz's drink with drugs, Wolfe erupted, shouting, "He doesn't know what it feels like to build something from scratch, only to watch someone else enjoy the fruits of your labor and smile for the cameras while everyone thinks he's just as important as I am to the show's success." The outburst sent shockwaves through the courtroom, later cited by jurors as a pivotal moment that exposed Wolfe's deep-seated resentment and provided a glimpse into the motive behind his actions. The defense tried to portray Wolfe as a loyal friend working to mend ties with Fritz, presenting testimony from network executives who had supported Fritz's recovery efforts. But this narrative crumbled under the weight of the doctor's testimony, which exposed Wolfe's deception. The prosecution highlighted Wolfe's online searches. Questions like, can drug interactions causing a stroke be detected after death, and how can you make someone's death look like a stroke complication? These queries revealed a cold, methodical approach, with Wolfe exploiting Fritz's heart problems and stroke history as the perfect cover for his crime. The discovery of unlabeled fentanyl bottles in Wolfe's safe and the diary's chilling entries left no room for doubt. This was premeditated murder, not a tragic accident. After a tense 4-hour deliberation, the jury delivered their verdict guilty. The courtroom fell silent as the word rang out, a moment of justice for Fritz's family and fans. At sentencing, the judge's words cut deep. "Mr. Wolfe, you presented yourself as a guardian of American history and culture. Yet beneath that facade, you concealed hatred and murderous intent. You leveraged your fame to champion the past while plotting to take the life of the friend who helped build that legacy. Today, justice is served with a sentence of life imprisonment, not just for Frank Fritz, but for the millions of viewers who once placed their trust in you." Wolfe's calm facade shattered. He leapt to his feet, screaming, "You don't understand. He's going to destroy everything. He's going to destroy my legacy." In a frenzy, he charged across the defense table, scattering documents and knocking over a cup of water. Court officers rushed to intervene, but Wolfe pressed forward, swinging his arms toward Fritz's family. He grabbed a trial exhibit, an old walking stick, and swung it like a weapon, striking an officer on the shoulder. "I built American Pickers. It was my life's work," he shouted, his voice raw with desperation. 3 officers struggled to wrestle him to the ground as he kicked and screamed about betrayal, his fury unstoppable. Frank Fritz's sister, present in the courtroom, was quickly escorted out by security as Wolfe tried to scream in her face, "I'm the one who deserves this. It's my show." In a shocking moment, he turned to Danielle Colby, seated among the witnesses, and yelled, "Tell them the truth. Tell them what Frank was really like." The courtroom buzzed with disbelief, the air thick with tension. Colby turned away, visibly pained, as other crew members broke into tears, some unable to contain their emotions. Trial documents revealed Wolfe's strategy of division, how he had quietly isolated crew members from Fritz, deepening the rift within the American Pickers team and creating a wound that may never heal. Wolfe's outburst didn't stop there. As officers restrained him, he continued to shout, revealing more about his fractured relationship with Fritz. He was going to start his own show. Wolfe screamed, his voice laced with bitterness. "He told me I was washed up, that the network wanted him back." These words painted a vivid picture of jealousy, desperation, and resentment that had festered for years, adding a new layer of darkness to an already tragic tale. The courtroom sat in stunned silence, grappling with the depths of Wolfe's anger and his belief that Fritz had betrayed him, all while he fought to cling to the legacy they had built together. The fallout was catastrophic for American Pickers. The History Channel acted swiftly, removing all episodes featuring Mike Wolfe and issuing a statement expressing shock and offering condolences to the Fritz family. Major sponsors pulled their support, leaving the show's future hanging by a thread. Fritz's family filed lawsuits to reclaim his valuable antique collection and intellectual property, vowing to protect and preserve the legacy he had built. They also launched legal action against the History Channel, accusing the network of enabling Wolfe's misconduct and failing to intervene as tensions between the two stars escalated. The once beloved show, which had drawn millions of viewers worldwide, became a shadow of its former glory, forever stained by this tragic chapter in television history. Psychologist Dr. Robert Keller, who closely followed the case, offered insight into Wolfe's psyche, suggesting he may have suffered from narcissistic personality disorder. While his actions are inexcusable, they shed light on the stark contrast between his public persona, charming and likable, and the hidden resentment he harbored, Keller explained. Individuals with narcissistic personality disorder often appear charismatic on the surface, but beneath that facade, they are consumed with bitterness and a thirst for revenge. It's plausible that Frank Fritz's departure from American Pickers left a profound emotional scar on Mike Wolfe. Keller noted Wolfe's troubling use of his celebrity status to manipulate public perception, crafting a narrative that suited his desires while concealing the darker truths of his actions. In the weeks following Fritz's death, Wolfe took to social media, posting messages that feigned sorrow while pointing to Fritz's stroke complications as the cause. His Instagram post read, "With a broken heart, I share with you that Frank passed away last night. I had the opportunity to know Frank for more than half of my life, and what everyone saw on screen is exactly what I experienced in real life. A dreamer who was both funny and sensitive. Even when the cameras were off, Frank was always himself." These words, initially seen as a heartfelt tribute, took on a haunting new meaning when the truth emerged. They felt eerily hollow, almost suffocating in their disingenuousness, as if Wolfe were attempting to cover up his crime with a veneer of grief. Prosecutor Sarah Donovan condemned this as a calculated deception, aimed at millions of loyal viewers who were mourning the man the defendant killed, exploiting their pain for profit. Investigators uncovered that over $1 million in donations poured in after Fritz's death, with the majority funneled into an account controlled solely by Wolfe, a chilling testament to his manipulation. The betrayal cut deep for fans. Robert Jenkins, a longtime viewer, spoke for many when he said, "We welcomed him into our homes every week. We believed in his genuine passion for history. Now we see it was all just a mask." Wolfe's former co-stars, once close allies, distanced themselves, expressing shock and urging fans to honor Fritz's memory. For the American Pickers crew, the tragedy remains an ongoing ordeal. Court testimonies painted a divided team, with some clinging to belief in Wolfe's innocence, while others were resolutely convinced of his guilt. Danielle Colby, who testified for the prosecution, announced she was stepping away from her television career to focus on healing. She called for privacy and expressed hope that the legacy of preserving antiques, once a unifying force, could endure despite the heartbreak now surrounding it. Frank Fritz's legacy stands in stark contrast to Wolfe's. Throughout his years on American Pickers, Fritz left an indelible mark as a passionate collector with a profound knowledge of antiques and a warm, humorous personality. His genuine love for history and talent for weaving captivating stories around each item won the hearts of millions. Even after his passing, his infectious smile and unwavering passion continued to resonate, inspiring countless individuals to appreciate the hidden value in old treasures. Fritz's legacy is one of devotion and authenticity, ensuring his impact endures far beyond the screen. Mike Wolfe's legacy, however, is irreparably shattered. Once known for his sharp mind and visionary approach to collecting, he is now forever tied to betrayal, greed, and violence. The murder conviction casts an undeniable shadow over his achievements, transforming him from a television hero into a symbol of deception. American Pickers, a cornerstone of reality television, has become a painful testament to broken trust and the corrosive effects of jealousy. The familiar face of the show, once a beacon of adventure and history, was handcuffed and escorted away, leaving fans in disbelief. The case began with assumptions of a simple tragedy, perhaps linked to disputes over antiques or tensions with the History Channel. But the horrifying truth unraveled a far more complex and chilling reality. Wolfe's arrest in connection with Fritz's death was just the beginning. As the cold, unyielding prison doors clanged shut behind him, his final words, "goodbye forever," lingered in the air. Was this the anguished cry of a man facing the punishment he deserved, or one last desperate attempt to manipulate those around him? The truth may forever elude the public, intertwined with the dark legacy he leaves behind. Join Sinister Psyche to follow every shocking detail of this unfolding drama. Press like, share, and subscribe to never miss an update. Dive into the comments to share your thoughts, theories, or emotions. Let us analyze this case together. Your support keeps the channel alive. Thank you for being part of the journey.
Thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, drop a comment below. And please like, share and subscribe my channel.